You are now tuned into the sounds of
Big Nate Sports Talk.
It's on all the time, anytime.
Tuned in to Big Nate Sports Talk, the show that is on all the time, anytime. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your host, Nathan Snell.
Indeed. Thank you, Mr. Anthony Handy, for that wonderful introduction. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host, Nathan Snell, the Big Nate Sports Talk podcast. This is episode 474 of the podcast Your Eyes Do Not Deceive You. It has been a hot second since you last saw this beautiful face and heard this beautiful voice of mine. Before we get into that, there's a few things I want to say up front. The last episode you saw was 2 weeks ago with myself and Brendan Potts, WMBA season wrap up. And since then, a couple things have happened. Well, if you don't know, I'm just going ahead and put it out there. I write for a new publication. It's called Team MBS Media. And in that time, I have covered the Maryland football team and also write for the Baltimore Ravens. It has been something. Okay. So I apologize if you've not seen or any YouTube videos up as of late. You've probably seen some content, whether it's extra interviews, we've seen some media availabilities from the Maryland football team, but it's time to play some catch up. And also with the Washington Commanders as well. So you're going to see those videos this week as well, because we're getting ready to wrap up with college football season. This week we're playing Rutgers, if I remember correctly. And with Maryland football, I'll save that for the video. For the Ravens, we play the Vikings. I know we're on a little bit of a mini bye week after this past Thursday victory against the Miami Dolphins. I'm going to talk a little bit about that. I wanted to talk about the Washington Commanders. I want to get I have some thoughts on the game, but more importantly on this whole what happened to Jaden Daniels, and I've heard all the what's the word I'm looking for? AJ, can you help me? Commotion. I don't want to use that word. Thank you. I've heard all the talk is a better word. Thank you. I've heard all this talk, about pulling how you should have not been in the game. And, I think I'm kind of starting to see people crash out, and I think kind of throw the white flag on the season. I think there's context to it, but we'll talk more about that with that video with the Commanders. I got a Baltimore Orioles video I'm going to do at some point, so stay tuned for that. And then also, too, I've not forgotten about the WNBA offseason haters guide, so definitely check that out. That is now 12-part series, 13-part, I should say, because also, too, we don't know if there will even be an offseason as they still have not come to a new CBA agreement. But we're still going to wait for that. You'll see some more content like that. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, please continue to subscribe for our future content. Thank you for the support you're giving me in this channel. Follow me on Twitter at Nathan Snell. You can follow me. All of the links are in the description below through Linktree. You can follow me, the podcast, on Apple Music, Spotify. You can again subscribe to the YouTube channel. And also, too, you can also follow my work through Team MBS Media. You will also see some content through MarylandSportsBlog.com from time to time as well. But that's enough of me blabbering. You all know why I'm here. This year, there's also this college basketball season that's officially starting. I'm also covering the Maryland women's basketball team. This is my third season officially writing for them. This is my 4th year covering them, but my 3rd year writing for them. This is my writing for them through Team UMBS Media. I want to thank Rosa Paula for allowing me to participate in Media Day, where I had uploaded content on Twitter. Got a lot of love for that. This group, I think, arguably, is the deepest in terms of depth we have seen, that I have seen, arguably, I will say, arguably, maybe since last 2 seasons ago, maybe. I think this group is more athletic, has length, but I see the vision. Brenda, Coach Freeze, is always going to do great things in the portal. Losing 7 players is not an easy thing. I thought the biggest two obviously was Allie Quebec going to Florida State. We all know Cheyenne Sellers was drafted to go to St. Valkyries, and then obviously Emily Fisher. She was drafted. She transferred to Nebraska. Sarah Tibiasu graduated. Christina Dulcie, she's actually a part of the scout team for the university for the women's team. Amari DeBerry, she graduated. Emma, she graduated, and then that has been something. Our portal, I think, getting Olechi Onakanwa, I thought from Duke, was a big pickup. I think that's arguably the steal of the transfer portal. And then getting Jordan Garzon from Indiana, I thought that was definitely a steal for sure. The Gracie Merkel thing, that I don't know what that was all about. But Brenda still went in the portal and did her thing. This roster, you can say what you want. I think it has the makings of something big. This roster, its peak is Final Four. Its ceiling is national championship. And that's not to include, we still have a good chunk of last year's group still returning. Mir is coming back. Kendall Walker, who redshirted, unfortunately, due to an injury last year, is back. Brianna Williams, who redshirted last year, is returning. Ava McKinney, Isame Ozzy Mamadou, who redshirted due to an injury, is with us again. Salem Poffenbarger, Kayleen Smichael, Bree McDaniel, who's not cleared to play, is returning. But her freshman group, I think, is arguably the best. And I don't think you can argue. I think you could argue we could argue to the cows come home. But example, Leah Bartelme, who is supposed to be I think a WNBA prospect, to forego that to come to College Park, and who's been in the starting lineup. I think that's a steal. Getting Addie Mack and Rainey Watson, I think, were 2 big pickups, especially guard-wise. I like the international pickups for sure. Myra, obviously, Leah's one from Slovenia, and then not Leah, but Myra. Where's Leah from? No, Leah's from Slovenia. Thank you, AJ. Myra's from Moscow, and then Nicole is from Romania. I wanted to say Leah was from Romania. Thank you, AJ. He caught me. Thank you. But this is a solid group. The biggest thing I also want to clear up too, when you look at this roster, one thing I've noticed, and if it doesn't apply, let it fly. I really have this. I don't know what this is, and maybe it's. I don't know if it's just from the I call it the outside perspective looking in. When I look at this roster, one thing that does stand out, as I said, it's athletic and it has length. As far as with Gracie Merkel, I don't know what that was. You commit to, you said you push him in the portal, and then you turn around, you commit to Maryland, then you decommit, and then go back to the school that you decommitted from, that you said you were transferring from. Okay. But I don't know why the conversation of, well, if Maryland doesn't have a post player, is kind of like the end of the world. So when I look at their roster, I'm looking at a player who's 6'4", 6'3", 6'3" again, 6'2". They got size at different positions. And what I've seen in terms of the offense so far, like I don't think you truly need a post. I mean, is it nice to have a post presence? Yes. Will we see that at some point? Yes. But I feel like I don't know what this is, but and maybe because I think we've been spoiled by the greatness of Lauren Betts. But I feel like if you don't have a player like Lauren on your roster, it's like hit or miss. And then another thing too, Bree McDaniel's not cleared to play, as already stated. But I again, like this, I know people have not. Some individuals, again, if it doesn't apply, let it fly. But I feel like individuals are not looking at the roster, not understanding we've only played one game, and we're already kind of putting parameters on. Well, if Bree comes back, everything will be aligned perfectly, and not looking at the rest of this roster, which we'll get into as we recap the first game of the year. But I like what I'm seeing so far from this group, and one that I like is everyone is really bought in. The one thing I also like to point out is the schedule, especially for the month of November. I think this was up until December. Well, I think there's 7 straight games where they're on the road, where they're at home, and then they go to Hofstra on the 27th. So right now you're looking at strictly non-conference games. But I want to bring it to your attention. I want you to circle a couple of games on your calendar. Follow me. The 26th, okay? They're playing Kentucky. Okay? That's a must. That's must-see TV. Okay? Make sure you circle that. I also want you to circle on your schedule, obviously. Really quick for my HBCU followers, Bethune-Cookman on the 20th against Maryland. George Mason on the 23rd. Now, last year, Maryland and George Mason played at the Navy Classic tournament in Annapolis, which I got to cover that. That was a good game. I want you to circle that. November 16th, Princeton and Maryland. I want you to circle that November 16th. Have that circled on your calendars. But I'm seeing some competitive non-conference games here, okay, for the Lady Terrapins. And then obviously, I'm looking, what is this? Central Connecticut, Delaware State. And then obviously beginning of the Big Ten play. And then officially after that is the Big Ten play. The biggest ones I'm looking at circling is UCLA, the 18th. Iowa, the 22nd of January. USC is the 15th. And we're actually on the road this year because last year, both teams were here at College Park. This year, we're going on the road and facing them. This year, Oregon and Washington, they're coming here to College Park. If I'm not mistaken, the Washington game is a 7:00 game. The Oregon game time has not been announced yet. If I'm mistaken, because I know that's on the 31st, if I remember correctly. So that West Coast thing, that's something. But definitely circle those games on your calendar for sure, ladies and gentlemen, because especially that Kentucky Princeton, those matchups, yeah, I gotta definitely I gotta get in there for sure. But you're definitely going to see me at some games covering the team. If you do see me in person, don't be afraid to say hi. But also too, there's going to be some other great people that's covering the team as well. But it's going to be a great year. But that's enough about that so far as the team. Some other news that did come out this week: we're taking over Perry in 2026. That is fantastic. Unfortunately, we have to face the team that beat us last year in the Sweet 16. and that is the University of South Carolina. Anywho, I'm not gonna play the clip, AJ. Thank you. Look, it's awesome. I think it's great. I think it lets the college basketball world know that one, we're in the building, but number one, hey, listen, I think that as part of it'll be the fourth annual rendition of the How We Play event. I think that's great. I think it just speaks to, I think, the hard work and dedication of the players, more importantly, the program. But to be a part of something like that, not too many programs can say they have been a part of that so far. But playing against a program like South Carolina and led by Dawn Staley, that speaks wonders. I know Notre Dame was part of it last year. I can't think who was just there Monday. Oh my gosh. I want to say Cal. University of California was there. For who they played. Hold on, let me look it up. Who did they play? They played Vanderbilt. That's who it was. So yeah, that's great to be a part of that. So I can't wait. I am going to put a guarantee a year from now. Yours truly, we'd be on a plane and cover the Maryland women's basketball team in France.
Guarantee.
I'm manifesting that right now. Manifesting that. Let's get into the first game of the year, and we're going to preview the second game, which is tomorrow as I'm recording the video. We started the season Monday, and we played Loyola, Maryland. We played the Loyola Greyhounds. We are ranked number 10 coming into the 2025-2026 season. Personally, I think we should be ranked somewhere in the top 5. You can fight me about it, but that's okay. How can I say this? Okay, so obviously we know that Loyola is part of the Patriot League. This is the same Greyhound team that won 9 games last year. They dealt with multiple injuries. Coach O'Bannon, this is her 5th year, if I remember correctly. She's only had 1 winning season so far, and that was 2 years ago. She lost to Boston in the first round of the Patriot League tournament. Most of her roster did come back this year. It's 11. She did have 3 recruits. Remember looking at her roster before actually starting to look at the game Monday. So one thing that I liked about their roster, she had her top rebounders for sure, and outside of that, nothing else really stood out about their roster. This biggest thing was they have a high percentage of turning the ball over, and we'll talk about that a little bit in the game. I did the math. I think, hold on, let me look at my notes. Between 4 players, they turned the ball over 278 times. That was their 4 leading scorers. That can't happen. And it was Coy Sims who led the team in turnovers with 78. So my keys obviously was one thing. I knew Kayleen was not going to play. Obviously, we know Bree is not cleared to play. I know for a fact, one, it was interesting to see what Brenda was going to put out there. Again, I don't know why we're making a big emphasis on injuries. Again, Kayleen did not play in the last exhibition game. I know Leah did not play in the last exhibition game. Rainey had a severe. I mean, it wasn't even a severe. She got up and walked on. Came back on her own power. She just landed weird on her knee, if I remember correctly. And then Kayleen's dealing with some nagging injuries. Like we're sitting here. I mean, we got individuals acting like Kayleen broke her foot and is done for the year. Rainey, like, broke her. Like is in like literally had to be carried off the court. I mean, like, injuries are part of the game, but like that's going to happen. But like, I don't understand why after it's not even the first game we're already panicking about injuries. And I'm not saying that's fans. I'm saying I will say that some of my media colleagues. Out of respect, I'm not going to say names. So I know Leah definitely. I think, if I remember correctly, in the last exhibition game, Leah had back issues. So most definitely, I'm going to make sure that she is rested well. And they played against a D2 school, and no shade to that school. And I come on. And this was a good opportunity to see how the other freshmen, Addie, Myra, others looked. Alucci, Jordan, even Kendall and Brianna, how they all looked. And they all got a good look of minutes. And again, this was just the start of the non-conference games. Most people, and this was an interesting game. And the final score was 80-26.
What was that? What the hell was that?
I mean, damn! Damn!
Okay. So the Lady Terrapins actually tied a program record, where ex-coach Freeze has been the head coach. That's the least amount of points that they've allowed in a basketball game under her head coaching tenure, and the most, at least since the 1974 season. Bring your head on that stat. Listen, Loyola, they looked like little giants out there. And I really, really, that's the nicest way I can put it. I really, really got to give Olechi her credit. 18 points. The team as a whole had 20 assists. The bench, I thought, was really key, with 35 points off the bench. The depth, I think Brenda definitely will definitely utilize at her discretion for sure. One thing that I noticed, and I'm going to take our freshman group this year out the picture for just a second. Last year, if you look at last year, we had Emily and Ava and Kendall just before she got hurt, all logged about 100 minutes. And then those that this year, and even including redshirted as well, Kendall, Brianna, and now Ava. Kendall, Brianna, and then now the freshman this year had 100 minutes Monday compared to 178 last year, which was between Emily, Ava, and Kendall for an injury. Excuse me, as I rephrased that. My apologies. I'm not going to say depth last year was an issue. I do think injuries occurred at the wrong time. Shy got hurt. Bree got hurt. Then Kendall got hurt. So it was a lot. So we saw minutes from where you had to go, oh, okay. But like, we saw all 5 freshmen for this group on the floor Monday. And then when you saw last year's freshman group, the remaining 3 of the 4, now that Emily's in Nebraska, all on the floor as well. So this is a much deeper group, as I stated. Even if you take, even though Bree and Kaylee were not out there, you had 11 Terrapins all contribute to something, to this win. That says a lot. And again, they put up 80 points without Kayleen and Bree. And again, I'm going to curious to see how that'll look as we get closer to non-conference play, because I'm a little curious, and I'll speak more with Jordan, for example, because I think there's a little bit of I wouldn't say like hesitancy from some fans, but I think people were kind of expecting more. But I'm going to explain. I'm going to clean that up in just a second as I get this last point across. While we don't know what Bree's return date is, but once Kayleen comes back, Coach Freeze is going to have to figure out how that depth will look. Because, for example, like let's say if there's a situation where, like, example, Kayleen is from a defensive standpoint having a bad matchup, you might have to put Kendall Walker in there. You might have to put Leah in there. You might have to put Ava in there. You're going to have to kind of utilize your depth in certain situations, even in scoring. You might have to look to Brianna in certain situations. Like Brianna Williams had a 3-pointer. You might have to look at Izzy a couple times. Izzy did really good in terms of rebounding. There was a couple times where she got 3 seconds in the paint. But again, that's her first really game on the court since, coming off her injury. I mean, I know in terms of regular season wise. So I think she's still getting comfortable being out on the floor, but still she gave a little bit of everything on both sides of the ball. So, I mean, it's the first game. I still think you really kind of will see. I think it's too early to see kind of how everything will be utilized. But I think once we get kind of closer to mid-November, I think we'll have a better idea for sure. The defense, I think arguably this might be the best defensive team in the Big Ten. Ava McKinney is my sleeper to make an all-defensive, the Big Ten all-defensive team. And so was Olechi. And also she's my sleeper to make Big Ten Player of the Year. As I said, the last few points since 1974. The Greyhounds shot 20% from the field. They only scored 26 points. They only scored 11 points in the first quarter. And then the next 3 quarters, they only scored 15 points.
I mean, this is some bad stuff. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what I'm going to say. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how much more of this I can take. I just don't know. This is ridiculous. Oh, Lord.
And, again, I thought size also too played a role in that. Because I looked at their roster. They had a freshman that was 6'2", if I remember correctly, 6'3", but I don't recall, if I remember correctly, at the stat sheet, actually look at the box score now, I don't ever recall her even being on the floor. But yeah, no, this was pretty much over after the first quarter. 9 of 45, 4 of 19. Yeah. Even though the Terrapins turned the ball over 16 times, I will say they only had 6 points off the 18 turnovers. So I can't really get on the ladies for giving up 18 turnovers because you only gave up 6 points. But you made up for it with 3 blocks, and you forced 29 turnovers and had 5 steals. I'm sorry. You had 18 steals, excuse me. Because Kendall Walker was responsible for 4. Sailor had 5. Yeah, so I mean, you look at these stats. These stats don't. I mean, for example, like I'm looking at a guard for Loyola, 0 of 5 from the field, 2 of 8. I mean, most of their roster, most of their lineup, their roster was all in the negatives. Compared compared to us, the Lady Terrapins, where everybody got a good amount of minutes. Nicole didn't score; she played only 6 minutes, but uh, everyone played at least 10 minutes or more, and everyone was in the positives. So everyone contributed in some form or fashion. So I can't. Yeah, that's my biggest takeaway was the defense for sure. When you forced 29 turnovers and had 18 steals, and you had 35 turnovers, 35 points on the turnovers, that says a lot. But also too, the Lady Terrapins were aggressive. We were in the passing lanes, and we they. I also too thought too Loyola's ball movement was very very poor in terms of essentially bringing the ball up the court. Their half court offense looked very lackadaisical. That just was my observation, and we made them pay for it at times, especially not the off ball movement was very yeah, it was a lot, I will say. I will say offensively, and I don't know if this was some of this I think was what Loyola was doing defensively, but I think also too I'm kind of curious to see what this will do as we play UMBC tomorrow. But one thing I noticed is we kind of went away from isolating to more of we're relying more on ball movement and pace and shooting. I love the fact that we were moving the ball, making the extra pass, and finding getting a good shot. I like that. And again, it was a lot of 3-pointers and layups because we shot over almost close to 51% from the field and it was 47% from three. So, and again, it realistically, even Coach Free said in the post presser, that's not going to happen every game. However, you could see that, for example, and then that kind of transition, I'm going to say that as an example with Jordan. Most people will say it was not a good game. She was 1 of 5. However, she had 3 points, but she had 6 assists, 2 steals, 5 rebounds. Excuse me. She had 3 rebounds. So I'm looking at a player that was, one, making plays for others, but also two, I think again the pace of the offense, where I thought we could have been a little bit better finding her at times, but I think also too, I do think there was a little bit of foul trouble. Oh, let me look. She only had no. She's not the one foul. I just think also too she was just take what the defense gave her. So those six assists, I thought those were meaningful assists. That's just me. So she passed up her shot to get, example, Olechi a shot or Sailor a shot. That's just how I saw it. So, because, for example, Olechi, she was our primary shot. She's our only shot creator, and she was 4 of 4. And Sailor was 3 of 3, had 11 points. But and then she's the key for this team as well. But other than that, that's what I took away from the win against the Greyhounds. And they actually, if I remember correctly, Loyola plays. Let me look at their schedule really quick, because they, I believe, play LaSalle. Their schedule is going to be something because they play Virginia Tech Sunday as well. So that was definitely something. But other than that, it was a good win. I enjoyed it. But it's our 17th win at home for a season opener. The last one we lost, when was that? We lost to TCU. That was 2008, if I remember correctly. 2008. So So, but other than that, with Jordan, I'm not concerned with her. She's adjusting I think to the system. She will be fine. But again, for a team to score 80 points without Bree, Kayleen, I'm quite proud of that. If I had to give out a game balls, most definitely Olechi for one. Kendall Walker for sure, most definitely. Ava McKinney, I'm definitely gonna give her one. Um, let me see. Look at the rest of it here. Izzy. Izzy definitely deserves a game ball for sure. Um, those are the players, and then Monty as well. But I mean, those who I would give a game ball to for their performance and how they looked in the win against Monday. But everybody, other than that, everyone collectively had a good game for sure. And again, it's the first game of the year. I'm not too concerned, but to allow opponent to only score 4 points in the second quarter, 6 in the third, and 5 in the fourth. Yeah, you definitely did work there for sure. We're going to take a quick break because we're going to talk about the next game against the Retrievers of UMBC. Ladies and gentlemen, we will be right back. Okay, we're back. We are playing the UMBC Retrievers. We're playing them tomorrow. It's our second game in 4 days. And last year we played the UMBC Retrievers as well. This is our 14th matchup all time. Last year we beat them was that was a blowout as well. I think it was 74-32. If I remember that correctly. And this is for the Retrievers. This is a little different team. Last year they won 14 games and they won 7 conference games in the American East. Coach Hill, this is her second season because we all know she's coming from St. John. She's actually got this team looking a little different. We all know Coach Hayes is no longer with the team, but Coach Hill definitely has got a little different team. They did beat Stevens University Monday night as well. The final score was 90-49. That was something because they're actually, once they face us, then they got to play Virginia and I think Brown University. So from last year, she lost 4 of her top scorers. I wrote that in my article on teambsmedia.com on the preview for the game tomorrow because most of last year's roster had grad seniors, and 4 of them, if I remember correctly, were her scorers. I can't remember off the top of my head who they were, but that's going to be interesting. Jade Tillman, who had 22 points in the win against Stevenson, she's coming from East Carolina. Elena Williams and Carmen Yanez, I know them from last year. They didn't have roles as big as this year. Then Delaney Yarbrough, obviously she is a local Maryland product. Ironically, her and Ava McKinney were former high school teammates at McDonough High School, and she went to the University of Towson, and now she transferred to UMBC. So it's interesting to see her in her senior year at UMBC. So interesting to see Ava and Delaney face of one another. One thing I will say that they are not the best neither with ball security. The same issue with Loyola. They turned the ball over. Loyola had 6 more turnovers than UMBC did. They only had 23 against Stevenson. This was a team who averaged 15 last year, if I remember correctly. And that's going to be something. Now, in the article you'll see on Team EMBS Media, which hopefully it'll be out by tomorrow, I think will be an advantage for UMBC is their size. Most of their, I will say, I did it. Let's look at their roster really quick. Outside of Delaney, Jade, there is seven players for them that are over 6 feet tall, particularly within the front court and the guards play. However, Maryland, I think, has the better advantage because they're more athletic and they have more size. So I'm just going to name off those players for UMBC that has, in terms of size. When I say size, I think that's standout. So, example, Heidi Williams, 6 feet tall. Elena Williams, 6'1". Kenya Ramsey, Delaney Yarbrough, 6'3". Massey Crawley, 6'4". They have her listed as a forward center. Gabby Scott, Jade Tillman. Okay. Then you look obviously at our roster. You look at Nicole, 6'2", Brianna, 6'2", Jordan, 6'3", Maya, 6'4", Izzy, 6'3", Sailor, 6'2", Ava, 6'2", and then if Kayleen does play 6 feet, I think we clearly have the advantage on that. And again, for that actually, I think this group for UMBC, I think they have a chance to win the American East Conference. I think they have a little bit more talent on the roster for this year. No shade to the group last year, but I think they have a little bit more. But I'm going to be interesting to see how they will look against that front court. Because especially with Delaney, who was at Towson, but also was at North Carolina A&T as well. That's going to be interesting to see. We'll see. We'll see how it all looks. In my article on TBS Media, I still don't think we still have a true official starting lineup. I think Brenda's still kind of figuring out what is the best lineup out there. I still think Izzy should be in the starting lineup, in my personal opinion. As a post player, yes, Maria definitely does have, as a post player, she's had some solid minutes off the bench, but I think Izzy's a little bit more. I think Izzy has a little bit more athleticism, and I think they're both interchangeable. Kayleen, I hopefully will be ready to go, but I would be surprised if she does not play. Jordan, I do think she will have a bounce back game. But I mean, Brenda talked about in the post presser. A lot of it, I think, was also to not getting her looks, but also to, I don't think it was quiet. I wouldn't even say like it was a quiet night. I think it just was, again, it's the first game of the year. It's jitters. You're adjusting to your new team, new system. And that's just how I look at it. That's going to happen. So I'm not really too worried about that. But other than that, I think Maryland should win this game. I'm not going to say it's going to look like Stevenson, but I think it's going to be not like Loyola. It's not going to look like that. That's for sure. I will say Maryland beats UMBC 89-59.
Guaranteed.
Is limit the fouls, limit the turnovers, get their post play and early foul trouble. The bench is key. I got to see how the bench looks, especially the performances like Kendall, Ava, and Brianna had, especially Brianna Williams had, and everyone else contributing. Got to see how that carries from Monday to this game. So I think everybody will have a great game. I expect it to be great. And it's coming on the Big Ten Network. Now, the game is at 6 o'clock. So it's on the Big Ten Plus. You have the Big Ten app. Make sure you get the Big Ten app or ask a friend if you have that. Definitely check it out because most of the games this year for Maryland are on the Big Ten Plus. It's really quick. I don't understand that, especially on the local games. If Maryland's home, we got CBS, ABC, WJZ, ESPN, we could put in TBS, TNT. We could put that on the local news stations, but WBL. I'm just saying, I'm not. Anywho, AJ, we do have one final thought. Thank you. Let's get into one final thought of the podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
Thoughts are running through my mind, so I took some time to find a minute or two to organize them.
Okay, the one final thought for this episode. It is going to be a great collegiate basketball season. I want to wish each and every collegiate ball player, whether it's men or women, a safe and healthy season. I know for some, this may be their last collegiate season, whether you're a grad, transfer, grad student, or whether this is I know for this group, I think this is the last year where some have the COVID year. I know some of us have the medical red shirt, all those different things like that. But go out there, have fun, but also too just be safe, and also too make people remember your name. I do think it was a little disingenuous. It was a while ago. I'm just going to use that as an example. She plays for Charlotte, Daphne White. I don't know why the Twitter page threw shade at her, but not understanding that she's dealt with injuries. I feel as though in any individual, when it comes to sports, they have a right to go out on their terms. So, and when healthy, she's one hell of a post player, personally. So, we just want to give her a quick shout out and just continue to do big things this year. Wish you all the best, in the University of Charlotte. A great season. But other than that, it's going to be some great basketball. Game 2, UMBC, University of Maryland, the University of Maryland College Park, 6 o'clock. Again, you can follow my work on teamumbsmedia.com. I'll have live updates. I won't be at the game, but you'll see live updates on Twitter. You can follow me again at Nathan Snell. You'll see this article for Maryland football as we get ready for the University of Rutgers this weekend, which is a must-win game. If they do not win, I will crash out. And then Washington Commanders, got to have a little conversation about that. And the Baltimore Ravens, we'll talk about that. And you'll see some other content. I have you're going to see it on teamumbsmedia.com. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but you will see it. Because I am going to create some chaos. But I'm not going to say what that is right now. But yeah, for now, that's all I'm going to say. But thank you for all the support you're giving me in this channel. Be tuned for future episodes. And I will see you guys on the flip side. Until then, stay safe. It is November 2025. It is almost over. Thanksgiving is almost here. Christmas is almost here. And we're going to we're going to get through this, ladies and gentlemen. We just got to take it one day at a time. Just continue to check on loved ones, stay safe, and just continue to count the many blessings that you all have. So until then, this is Nathan Snell signing off. Have a good night. Peace. Stay up, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you for tuning in to Big Nate Sports Talk. If you enjoyed that episode, be sure to like, subscribe, and share Big Nate Sports Talk. It's on all the time, anytime.
And I want to thank you. All I want to do is say thank you.